Hello, my friends. Time for a bedtime biography. Time for perhaps my most favorite bedtime biography because it's about my most favorite actress entertainer in the whole wide world. And if you know me, you know that that person is this person right here, Miss Judy Garland. You might only know her as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, but I'm telling you, she was so much more. Got Judy. She had her own TV show on CBS. It was awesome. Like everybody was on it, like Mel Torme, Frank, Dean Martin, everybody. This is a great adult book if you're interested in Judy Garland by John Fricke. And here are the most wonderful quotes. Like Frank Sinatra said, "The rest of us will be forgotten, never Judy." And it's true because of The Wizard of Oz. But The Wizard of Oz, here's the thing. We have a double-edged sword kind of feeling about it, with those of us who really know and love Judy. The thing is, she was not treated very well by MGM, not at all, or by her mother when she was young. And it led her down a path of a lot of like substance abuse and bad feelings about the way that she looked and who she was. But yet it is a conduit for people to learn more about Judy. Once they see Judy as Dorothy, they're like, oh, I want to find out more about this chick. And I am going to read the book and tell you more about this chick. But Judy Garland, she was live at the Palace. I've been there, New York. She was born in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. I've been to her birthplace 5 times. In the show business. Whoopi Goldberg said when she sang God Spoke, this is her best movie ever. She should have won the Oscar for this, 1954. Oscar night was the night her young son, her youngest child, Joe, was born. It didn't go to Judy, though, unfortunately. For some bizarre reason, it went to Grace Kelly for Country Girl. Really? Okay. Anyway, as Groucho Marx said, that was the greatest robbery since The Brinks. But anyway, A Star is Born, great movie. You should totally watch it. And the Judy Garland story, the star years. To me, they were all star years. Renee Zellweger was recently in a movie called Judy. It's a great movie, but here's the thing. If you don't know much about Judy, you might come away from it thinking that she was a very depressed person and down all the time. Not so. Read Me and My Shadows by Lorna Luft, her middle daughter. Liza Minnelli's her oldest daughter. She was just an incredible lady. I've been to, when she was buried in Hartsdale, New York, been to where she was in a columbarium there. Now she's out in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I've been to her star on the Walk of Fame. She's got 2. But Judy Garland, big time amazing. As Lucille Ball said, the funniest woman in show business. There aren't any Who Was books about Judy Garland yet, I'm hoping. There aren't any Little People, Big Dreams books. But this man right here, Randy L. Schmidt, has written Becoming Judy Garland. And you can see her here dressed in her iconic Dorothy outfit. And she was a champion of civil rights, marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, good friends with John F. Kennedy, was a great defender and supporter of LGBTQ rights, way before her time. Great lady, Judy Garland. But she wasn't always Judy Garland. Judy Garland was born Frances Ethel Gumm on June 10th, 1922, in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. It's about 3.5 hours north of the Twin Cities. The world fell in love with her as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in the 1939 MGM classic, one of the most beloved films of all time. She went on to become one of the greatest entertainers in show business history. This is her story. Frank and Ethel Gumm were vaudeville entertainers. They trooped from town to city with fellow actors, comedians, dancers, magicians, and singers. The couple eventually made their home and started a family in Grand Rapids. Mr. Gumm managed a local theater, and his wife played piano during silent movies. Between films, daughters Mary Jane and Virginia danced and sang together as the Gumm Sisters, a family vaudeville act. It was Christmas time, 1924, when 2-year-old Frances, the youngest daughter, made her debut on the stage of her father's theater. She sang Jingle Bells, and the crowd responded with a thunderous ovation. Frances loved the sound of the applause and cheers so much she wouldn't stop singing until Mr. Gumm finally had to carry her off stage, kicking and screaming. The reviews were in. Frances Gumm was a big hit. A local newspaper reported her singing was a genuine surprise. With the new nickname Baby Gumm, Frances joined the Sister Act. The trio performed at the theater, around town, and even at home for family and friends. They put on a show anytime and any place. Somebody sat still long enough to listen. The family's time in Minnesota was short-lived. When Frances was 4, they sold their house and moved west for sunny Southern California. The Gumm sisters spent several months playing one-nighters in just about every major city along the way. The family finally settled in Antelope Valley, California, north of Los Angeles in the Mojave Desert. Mr. Gumm continued to manage movie theaters, while his wife earned a reputation as an aggressive stage mother. Mrs. Gumm detested the desert and soon moved the girls to Hollywood. Mary Jane and Virginia lost interest in performing and wanted to quit. By then, baby Frances was the star of the act anyway. She may have been small, but her voice certainly wasn't. People marveled at her power and called her the little girl with the big voice. The Gumm sisters went on one final tour together. In the summer of 1934, they all piled into the family car and headed east for the Chicago World's Fair. A theater manager in the Windy City promised that the girls would see their name up in electric lights. But when they arrived, it wasn't the Gumm sisters they saw blinking brightly overhead. Instead it said, the Glum sisters. Do they look glum? No. The MC that night was George Jessel, a popular comedian. He told Frances that she was as pretty as a garland of roses and suggested that the girls change their name to the Garland Sisters. Frances declared she wanted a new first name too, so it was then and there, backstage at the Oriental Theater in Chicago, the Gumm sisters became the Garland Sisters, and Frances Gumm became Judy Garland. A talent agent heard Judy sing and offered to take her around Hollywood to audition for several movie studios. She sang for Louis B. Mayer, the head of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, better known as MGM. He and others liked Judy so much that they signed her to a movie contract in 1935. At first, the studio was not quite sure what to do with her. Judy was an in-between, too old to be a kid, but too young to be an adult. Judy reported to her first day of work at MGM, and much to her surprise, she was sent straight to school. There were half a dozen other child actors on the studio lot. Like Judy, several of the others, including Jackie Cooper and Mickey Rooney, got their start in vaudeville and were also making the transition into movies. They all attended daily classes together at MGM's Little Red Schoolhouse, which curiously was painted white. When Judy's father suddenly became ill and was hospitalized, she was preparing to sing for a live radio show. The family doctor called Judy just before the performance to say that Mr. Gumm would be listening from his hospital bed. She sang, "Zing Went the Strings of My Heart," especially for him. She did that night, but by morning, he was gone. And she lost her really biggest advocate there, because her mom was tough. Returning to work after the death of her father wasn't easy, but Judy remained busy at the studio. She was paired with Mickey Rooney in several films, but mostly entertained for parties and special events on the MGM lot. For a birthday celebration honoring her favorite actor, Clark Gable, Judy sang, "Dear Mr. Gable, You Made Me Love You." In return, he gave her a charm bracelet engraved, "To my best girl, Judy," from Clark Gable. When Judy was 15, MGM purchased the film rights to L. Frank Baum's book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It was always meant to be a showcase for Judy, but rumors surfaced that America's Sweetheart might get the part instead. Shirley Temple was the most popular child star of the 1930s. But Judy's singing and ability to act, her unrivaled talent set her apart. She was the obvious and only choice for the role of Dorothy. America's Sweetheart, Shirley Temple? Really? Nah. Songs for the Wizard of Oz were all written with Judy in mind. Her heartfelt performance of Over the Rainbow helped the song win the Academy Award for Best Original Song in 1940. After Oz, Judy was hailed as one of the most famous movie stars in the world. Over the Rainbow became her signature tune and one of the most enduring songs of the 20th century. Both the movie and the song will be forever identified with Judy Garland. And so my advice to you, my friends, though, is to get to know a little bit more about Judy Garland. She was truly awesome. I, Judy Garland, was born when I was 12 years old. Because, that's what it says on the back there, because it was a rough life. Like, being a child star is hard. And, you know, but she was just such a neat lady. I got tons of pictures. I took my mom there. I've taken my friends there. I tried to take everybody there. Want to go to the Judy Garland Museum with me in Grand Rapids, Minnesota? Let me know. Anyway, my friends, I hope that you'll have dreams and they'll all take you over the rainbow. I hope so. And thank you for who you are. And kiss your beautiful brains. Keep dreaming. Kiss your loving hearts. And look in the mirror and say, hey, good looking. Because you're all good looking. Just the way you are. Thank you, friends. Forever Judy, right? Yeah. Judy.